Hey everyone, it's PollyMccanos_DML and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're about to embark on a super fun and delicious adventure. We're baking a cake. Whether you're a total beginner or a seasoned baking pro, this video is for you. We're breaking down the process into 10 easy-peasy steps, so grab your aprons, preheat those ovens, and let's get baking. Alright, baking superstars, step 1 is all about getting organized. This is the foundation of any successful baking adventure. Just like a superhero needs their gadgets, we need our ingredients. Think of them as your trusty sidekicks, ready to help you create something amazing. First up, we've got our all-purpose flour, the base of our cake creation. Flour provides the structure and body to our cake, making it the essential building block. Make sure you've got enough. We don't want any mid-baking emergencies. Always double-check your measurements to ensure accuracy. Next, we need sugar, the ingredient that brings the sweetness and helps with that gorgeous golden brown crust. Sugar also helps to tenderize the cake and keep it moist. Don't forget the butter. We're going for that melt-in-your-mouth texture, and butter is our best friend for that. Butter adds richness and flavor, making every bite a delight. Make sure it's softened to room temperature for optimal creaminess. This ensures it blends smoothly with the other ingredients. And of course, we can't forget the eggs. Eggs are crucial for binding the ingredients together and adding moisture. They add richness, structure, and a touch of magic to our cake batter. Whisk them well to incorporate air, which helps the cake rise. Now, depending on the recipe you're using, you might have some extra special guests joining the party. Baking powder for fluffiness, which helps the cake rise and become light and airy. Vanilla extract for a warm, comforting flavor, adding depth and complexity to the taste. Maybe even some sprinkles for a pop of color and fun. Sprinkles can turn an ordinary cake into a festive masterpiece. Gather everything up, measure it out, and arrange it all nice and pretty. This step ensures you have everything you need within reach, making the baking process smoother and more enjoyable. This is called Mise en place, and it's a total game changer in the kitchen. It helps you stay organized and focused, reducing the chances of missing an ingredient or making a mistake. Plus, it makes you feel like a professional chef. Even if you accidentally set off the smoke alarm sometimes, we've all been there. Embrace the process and enjoy the journey of creating something delicious from scratch. Okay, while we've got all our ingredients prepped and ready to go, let's give our oven a little wake-up call, shall we? Preheat that baby to the temperature your recipe specifies. This is super important because a preheated oven ensures that our cake bakes evenly and rises beautifully. Think of it like this. You wouldn't jump into a swimming pool without dipping your toes in first, right? We gotta ease that cake batter into a nice, warm environment. Plus, while the oven is heating up, it gives us a chance to do a little happy dance in the kitchen. Now let's talk about cake pans. These trusty tools are the foundation of any great cake, and prepping them properly is key to baking success. We want our cake to pop out of that pan like a dream, not cling to it like it's holding on for dear life. A well-prepped pan ensures a smooth release, making your baking experience much more enjoyable. To prevent any cake casualties, we're going to give our pan a little spa treatment. Think of it as pampering your pan so it can pamper your cake. First, we're going to grease it up with some butter or baking spray. This step is crucial because it creates a slippery surface that helps the cake slide out effortlessly. Make sure you get all the nooks and crannies. Every corner and edge needs to be covered to prevent any part of the cake from sticking. This creates a barrier between the cake batter and the pan, preventing any sticking disasters. A well-greased pan is your cake's best friend. Next, we're going to dust it lightly with flour. This step is like adding a second layer of protection. This helps to create a nice, even crumb on the outside of our cake and adds an extra layer of protection against sticking. The flour works in tandem with the grease to ensure a perfect release. And there you have it. A perfectly prepped pan, ready to receive our delicious cake batter. A well-prepped pan is the unsung hero of baking. It ensures that your cake bakes evenly and comes out looking beautiful. It's all about setting ourselves up for success, my friends. With a properly greased and floured pan, you're on your way to baking perfection. Happy baking! All right, it's time to get our hands a little dusty. In a large bowl, we're going to combine all of our dry ingredients. This usually includes flour, baking powder, and a pinch of salt. Whisk them together gently to make sure everything is evenly distributed. We want every bite of our cake to have the perfect amount of fluffiness and flavor. This step might seem simple, but it's super important. We're creating the foundation of our cake here, so let's make it a strong one. Now for the fun part, creaming the butter and sugar. In a separate bowl, we're going to combine our softened butter and sugar. Now we're not just mixing here, we're creaming. This means beating the butter and sugar together until they're light, fluffy, and pale in color. This process incorporates air into the batter, which is what gives our cake its tender crumb. It's like magic, but with butter. So grab your electric mixer or flex those arm muscles and cream that butter and sugar until it's light and airy. Our butter and sugar are all creamed to perfection, so it's time to introduce the eggs to the party. We're going to add them one at a time, mixing well after each addition. This ensures that each egg is fully incorporated into the batter, creating a smooth and cohesive mixture. Don't be tempted to add all the eggs at once. We want to give the batter a chance to embrace each egg and create a beautifully emulsified mixture. Trust me, your patience will be rewarded with a cake that's light, airy, and oh so delicious. Okay, baking buddies, it's time to bring it all together. We're going to gradually add our dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, mixing until just combined. Remember, we don't want to overmix the batter. Overmixing can develop the gluten in the flour, resulting in a tough and chewy cake. And nobody wants a chewy cake. So take your time, be gentle, and mix until everything is just incorporated. It's all about finding that perfect balance. Our cake batter is ready for its grand entrance into the oven. Carefully pour the batter into your prepared pan, making sure to distribute it evenly. Once you've poured all the batter, give the pan a few gentle taps on the counter to release any air bubbles that might be hiding. Then, use a spatula or the back of a spoon to smooth the top of the batter, ensuring it's nice and level. This will help our cake bake evenly and prevent any doming or cracking. It's time to send our cake off to the spa, the warm and cozy oven spa that is. Carefully place the pan in the center of the preheated oven and bake according to your recipe's instructions. Now, I know it's tempting, but try to resist the urge to open the oven door too often. Every time you open the door, you release heat, which can cause your cake to sink or bake unevenly. Instead, put your feet up, relax, and let the oven work its magic. Your kitchen will soon be filled with the irresistible aroma of freshly baked cake, and that's when you know it's almost time to celebrate. Our cake is out of the oven, and oh my goodness, does it smell incredible. The aroma fills the kitchen, making it hard to resist diving in right away. But before we can dig in, we need to let it cool completely. This step is crucial to ensure the perfect texture and consistency of our cake. This is super important because a warm cake is much more fragile and prone to crumbling. Cutting into it too soon can ruin all our hard work. Let the cake cool in the pan for about 10 minutes before carefully inverting it onto a wire rack to cool completely. This helps the cake set and makes it easier to handle. This will prevent any soggy bottoms and ensure that our cake is nice and sturdy for frosting. A well-cooled cake is the foundation of a beautifully decorated dessert. Once the cake is completely cool, it's time to unleash your creativity and frost it to your heart's content. This is where you can really make the cake your own. Whether you prefer a classic buttercream, a rich chocolate ganache, or a simple dusting of powdered sugar, the choice is yours. Each type of frosting brings its own unique flavor and texture to the cake. And of course, no cake is complete without a sprinkle of fun. Adding sprinkles can bring a burst of color and joy to your creation. Get creative with sprinkles, candies, fruits, or anything else your heart desires. The toppings are what make each cake unique and special, reflecting your personal touch and style. Finally, step back and admire your masterpiece. You've turned a simple cake into a work of art, ready to be enjoyed by everyone. Happy baking! Congratulations, baking champions! You've done it! You've baked a cake from scratch and it looks absolutely incredible. Give yourself a pat on the back and a big slice of cake. You deserve it. We hope you enjoyed this baking adventure with Polymechanos_DML. Remember, baking is all about having fun, experimenting, and maybe licking the spoon a few times. Don't worry, we won't tell. Don't forget to share your cake creations with us in the comments below. We love seeing your baking triumphs. And as always, happy baking. And there you have it, 10 simple steps to baking the perfect cake. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more delicious recipes. Happy baking!